One of the reasons why I decided to continue to put out videos on YouTube and continue to put out DVDs or what have you, is because one of the things I wanted to teach and show people, not just about, history and everything like that, but I wanted to prove to mostly religious people and people who are skeptical about religion that you can indeed be successful without, believing that you have to get all of your blessings from a God. A lot of people believe you have to be a celebrity. You got to go to school forever. And, it's really impossible for you to make money. And we got to understand that we have been raised in a system and oppressed in a system that is geared towards suppressing us financially, economically. Now, if you watch the video, The Calculated Destruction of the Black Man and Woman, I talked about how they are able to effectively affect the black community by remote control, and how it's really our culture, our music, our education as well, of course, that is hindering us and causing us to live in poverty. It's a state of mind that if you do not understand what is happening to you and what's going on, you're not going to never know. Everything seems like the norm. And what we got to realize is, how is it that they have effectively gotten an entire community, millions of black people across the country, to basically do the same thing? The same thing. You have the majority of black people are doing the same thing. You have a few exceptional people, a few people that got talents and skills that may have went on and became, entertainer, actor, athlete, professionals that may have become doctors, lawyers, scientists, or what have you. And we know these people have good jobs and they generate good money and are able to do amazing things with their life, with their wealth. But for the most part, the majority of people are not CEOs. They are not entrepreneurs. They are working for entrepreneurs and for CEOs and for corporations that are basically, geared towards milking them, for every dime that they make. What we have to figure out is why. What is the issue with that? What is the mindset to keep a person giving their energy, their youth, to a corporation that don't give a shit about it? A lot of people can't fathom multiple incomes. A lot of people just, you go to work, you get that paycheck. It's paycheck to paycheck. But a lot of people can't think about, a whole other paycheck. People say, well, I have some on the side work. Or, well, I'll do hair on the side. I'll do nails on the side. And it's a little side job. You got that extra money coming in. But imagine if you was working full time with two jobs. You can't really do that. That's hard to do. But if you can set yourself up to where you can have a full-time job and have a second full-time paycheck coming in, this is what you want to happen. And eventually you want to get it to where you have full-time paychecks coming in without you doing absolutely nothing or little, So this is the goal. This is what you want. And you don't want to be sitting there working at a company and you in your 30s, 40s, 50s, you never met the owner. They treat you like shit. We have all waken up and felt like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to work. I don't feel like doing this shit. But you have to. You got to pay the rent. You got to pay the bills. You got to do what you got to do. And this is the rat race, the trap that they have us caught up in, to where we don't really feel free. We're just happy and we're going along and keeping a straight face, but really on the inside, we feel trapped, we feel stuck, we feel like, there's no hope. And this is one of the reasons why people turn to religion. And one of the major reasons why I'm here doing what I'm doing. Because when you have that feeling of hopelessness, as if, the lifestyle that you want or the situation that you're in is so huge, it's going to take a miracle to get you out that situation. And so many people feel like that, which is why they turn to religion, and they dare not challenge religion for fear that their life is going to get worse than what it is, or it's never going to get better. And it's the type of situation they have is in that allows religion to fester and grow and scare and destroy people and keep them exactly where they are in a state of poverty, hoping, begging, wishing. And my point is you don't got to do all that. You don't have to go through all that shit. Understand what's going on and understand why it's because of you that you are in the position that you are in. Now, what happens is you have a lot of people who think that because, I was in the Navy, because I have college degrees or what have you, on school and everything, that this is the reason why, I'm successful. The only reason why. And that's not the case. I don't want people really thinking that, you have to, and we all know this, you don't need a college degree. You don't have to go to the military and all that. There are ways. There's always a way. It's going to be contingent on your lifestyle now and what you're doing. As I said in the last DVD, you can only comprehend what you can comprehend. Plain and simple. You can only do what you know. If you're trying to figure something out in life or in anything, you can only attack it based on your understanding, period. You can't go really beyond what you know. So if I give you a puzzle or, something to solve or a riddle or anything, you can only really solve or handle any kind of problem or issue based on experience, on what information you have that's going to help you get through the situation. So the reason why a lot of people are where they are at, because they don't have a plan, they don't have the information to get to where they want to be. And this goes to a whole thing that we hear all the time about the black community when people say, well, why don't y'all just go do something? You poor, you selling drugs, just get out of there. As if we know or understand how to just go somewhere and get help or what to do to fix our situation. Like it's just really easy to just get rich or to get successful. You have to have the know-how. And a lot of people equate that to go to college, going to school. And that's how you're going to somehow magically get what you need to be successful. And we see successful people with degrees not make it, homeless on the street, not do as well as people think they do. It's a mindset. And that's what I realized, that a lot of people in that situation won't have a mindset to get out of it because, it's real easy to get down on yourself fast. And the thing is, if you don't see a way out, you're going to be looking for a way out. And you're going to fall victim to your own doubts, your own fears, and that's what's going to hold you back. But if you had a clear way out where you can see, well, this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do, that helps you out. And the only way you can do that is if you actually sit down and come up with a plan. And people say that, and a lot of people think it's just, a cliche thing. We say, set goals and write a plan, but that's the truth. It works. And it's something that a lot of people need to really think about more and get into. Because, again, as I said, if you don't know how to do something, you can't do it. If you don't have a plan, you don't know how to put together a plan that's going to help you get to your destination, you can't get there. We use GPS all the time to get to a place we don't know how to get to. GPS help us get there. If you don't have GPS and you don't have the know-how, how you going to get there? It's just, you got to think the same way about life. How am I going to get to this place I want to get this success and money that I want to get to? Well, you need a GPS. You need a plan to get you there. So when you actively factor in your life and what you can do and, how much money you make and everything like that, which we'll get into all that in a second, you can start to formulate a plan and you start to understand it's steps, but it really begins with a mindset and having a right mentality, which is going to be the first point we're going to get into in this DVD is mindset and mentality. It's really huge in moving forward. So mindset, mentality, big deal. And the mindset and mentality you have to have is it's a trap. It's all a setup. Everything that they are doing is to keep you in a rat race, to keep you making them rich. Plain and simple. When you understand that and you think about it that way, it's like, well, damn, I got to do something to get outside this box. We got to look at the situation and see it as I've been talking about in my videos. They want to make sure we stay in poverty, because poverty brings you to the church. Poverty keeps you in trouble. Plain and simple. Keep your jails filled and keep us basically making their money, working for them. So when they gave us this hip hop culture, this culture that we live in, they make sure that we look at the very people that's destroying us and we make them our heroes. We make them everything. The actors, the rappers, they are the people who we look up to. And people want to be like them. People want what they want, what they have. And they try to go about getting it the same way they believe that they got it. And this is why a lot of people are confused with hip hop, with the music industry now. They think if they just go to the studio and record and hand out mixtapes and put out mixtapes, they're going to somehow blow up. And there's a lot more to it. And it's just a mindset they created for us to fail, to keep us in poverty, to keep us not really putting together a plan, but following a plan that they set for us to follow. And that's what most people are doing. When you pay attention and look, I talked about this before about how the neighborhoods, how did they manage to successfully get, millions of black people to do the exact same thing? White people as well, when you pay attention. And that is to basically follow this system of school, work, retire, die. And you spend the majority of your youth and your life working for somebody else. And every day is slavery when you really think about it. You wake up, you got to go to work and work for this person. You're not getting paid that day. You get paid whenever you get paid. And, you think that money when you get it is somehow like, that's the purpose. That's the point, to get this check. And that's supposed to be fulfilling in some kind of way. And if you're getting a whole lot of money, I can see how it is. You're making hundreds of thousands and millions a year. I can see, okay, well, I'm working for this person, but I get paid crazy money, so it's okay. But if not, it's like, what are you doing there? Year, 2 years, 3 years. And what is the plan going forward? Is this what you really want to do? And then, by the time you start to get the mindset of making a change, doubt starts to creep in, fear starts to creep in. You became already dependent on that paycheck and you can't really afford to hinder it or alter it in any way. You can't afford to even take extra time off or to dig into something else, an alternate source of income, because you're so dependent on that one income, that one check. And that's the thing, they got us really fixated on that one job, one check. You got some people who are lucky enough to work 2 jobs, but they can't work 2 full-time jobs or 3 full-time jobs without being exhausted. So it's like, how do you do all that? How do you get full-time income, but then be able to relax and chill, or to be able to see yourself in a better position in the future based upon what you're doing at that particular time? And that's really the key. And it really starts with having the right mindset and the right mentality towards this system and the way that you're going to move forward in your life based upon, your lifestyle now. So now the 3 biggest things that is, harmful to your mindset and to your mentality as far as being successful or having success. The 3 biggest things is doubt, fear, and procrastination. And doubt and fear is really brought on by the unknown, which causes procrastination. And people really procrastinate because they don't see any reward. It's like, why should I go do this? I don't feel like doing this because I don't see the immediate reward. When it's an immediate reward, a lot of people just go ahead and do it. If you're about to get paid when you're done, you usually go do it immediately because it's a reward at the end. And a lot of times we procrastinate, with cleaning our kitchen because it's like, I'm home. It's my house. Who cares? I don't feel like cleaning the damn kitchen right now. I don't feel like cleaning the bathroom right now. It's not so much that you're a dirty person or what have you. It's just like, I don't feel like it because where's the reward? So what? It's my place. And, even on that small of a level, when you procrastinate, it just seeps into other facets of your life. And when you have doubt, when you constantly doubting yourself and doubting becomes fear because you don't know what you're going to do. You don't know where the next money going to come from, or if your paycheck is going to cover all your bills. I heard a lot of people say that I'm happy every month when I could just pay my bills. I don't care if I got enough money to get new sneakers. I don't care if I don't got enough money, to go on vacation or to, do something or get something that I want. But at least my bills are paid and I have food. A lot of people are genuinely just happy with that. I can pay my bills. I can watch TV. I got entertainment. I can eat. I'm cool. And that's the mindset they want us to have. They want us to stay in that mindset, to just get by. And that's what it's about. Only a few exceptional people are going to break out of this same loop that everybody seems to be stuck in, especially in the black community. And that's going to work, coming home. That's what you do. You get a cookie every week or every 2 weeks or every month, and you go out and play. You get paid and you go do some stuff, and then you go right back to work. And what kind of existence is that? And the whole key is, as we all know, is money is everything. It's just everything in the society, unfortunately. So in order for you to really live the kind of life that you want to live and have the success that you want, you got to have money. And people think that, just somehow really having money is just going to be you're going to be able to go ahead and just, do big, great things. And if you don't invest your money right and put your money in the right places, you're going to lose it. And this is what's happening. And people who live paycheck to paycheck know that better than anybody else. Because I see a lot of people who buy stuff they don't need just to fit in. You buy stuff that they really don't need just to get it. And then you have the regret later on. Like, why did I buy that? Or did I really need to buy that? Why didn't I just put this money in a savings account? So, this all goes towards a mindset and a mentality that is being created by this hip hop culture and the system that we live in that's making us think we need a bunch of shit that we do not need. Plain and simple. And remember, we used to always talk about the white people, how they come to school and tight t-shirt, beat up shoes, wrinkly jeans. It wasn't about the fashion and the styles with them. Remember, they came to school looking like whatever, but they were saving their money. We seemed like we had to fit in. We had to show off, black folks. We had to have the best because we didn't want to look poor, even though we was actually poor. And it's the mentality that basically transfers over into our adulthood, and we doing the same thing. You want to look the part, but you don't really got it like that. And this is what's going to destroy you. This is what's going to hinder you. Because then when you sit back and you calculate all the meaningless bullshit, trying to keep it real money that you done spun on a bunch of stuff that you don't have no more or use no more or just old and worn out, that's thousands of dollars you could have had in your savings account that could have went towards a better future for you, for your family, and to something that's really going to help you be successful in the future. Plain and simple. And this is the mentality we got to break out of, wasting money. So when you have that mindset in check, you have that mindset and mentality in check that I need to save money. I really need to be mindful of what I do and how I think as far as my money, what I'm doing with the money I got coming in, the little you got coming in. Once you got that mindset and that mentality that this is a trap, it's a setup, and you really need to work towards breaking out of this system, then you set on that point, and then you start to move on. What's the next thing you need to do? And I always tell people you have to have savings and security. Plain and simple. And this is just like, to most people, it's like, I don't got it like that to where I could save, and that's crazy. That's a problem because you do. Because there's a lot of things that you buy, as I said, that you don't need. That could have went to savings, security. All that stuff could have went to something much better. And savings and security is huge because you need to really understand that a lot of the problems people get into financially is because they didn't save. It just didn't save. I mean, a lot of people walking around that work, that have a job, they don't have $1,000 in their savings account. Some people ain't got $100 in their savings account. When you meet a person that has a job, they've been working for a long time, and they don't have $1,000, they've been working at a job for years. I mean, how long you been working? I mean, I'm in my 30s. I've been working for a long time, and you don't have $1,000 if you're my age. Just think about it. If you're watching right now, and you don't have $1,000 in your savings account, that's horrible. That is horrible. And it's not to make it like to put you down or anything like that. It's to make you really think about what you've been spending your money on or what you've been doing with your money that you do not have $1,000. One. And the reason why this is important is because shit happens. Plain and simple, shit happens. You need to really add up your bills, what you spend a month. And I'm serious. You need to do this. When you get time, you finish watching, what have you. And yeah, please be taking notes. You need to really think about this stuff and get it in your head. You need to calculate your bills monthly, what you spend. And I'm talking about factor in your little snacks, the little shit you spend to make you feel good, all that stuff. Not meaningless stuff that's like, I don't really need this. But, snacks, you might want a donut. I want a freaking candy bar, what have you. That little teeny bit of money. So you could just allocate, like, let's say you blow $100 a month on just some snacks. Cool, add that. But, of course, your main bills, rent, utilities, that stuff like that. Essentials. Some things you can live without. If push comes to shove, you don't really need the cable. That's an expensive bill. Cable is like a freaking, luxury these days because it's so hot. And Netflix is cheap, so a lot of people get that. As long as you got the internet, you're good. But get your bills together. Calculate what you spend a month. Food, utilities, rent, what have you. You need to have that times 3. Plain and simple. And understand, having that kind of mentality that I need to have this times 3, because if something happens to where you lose your job, you get fired, you get hurt, and it's a problem, you don't have an income, at least you got 3 months saved. And I talked about this before. You got 3 months saved to get you through that time. Can you imagine? You've been through this before, some of you, to where something happened and you needed money. Could you imagine if you had 3 times your monthly expenses already saved? And the thing is, we have been, taught to just have one account. To us, having one big account is good. I got one account. I mean, that's a big thing in the black community if you have an account. Got checkers and savings and you think you're doing well. You need to have a different savings for your utilities, for your bills. Write that down if you can't remember it. That is huge. And we're going to get into credit because credit is the next topic we're going to get into. But security and savings is huge. You need to have a separate account. Now, one of the cool things they do have now for people who might not have the credit to open an account, which we'll get into this, is they have the prepaid cards that you can load money on. So we'll get into that in a second. But you need to have times 3 your monthly expenses saved and put in a separate account. So now let's say, your monthly expenses, to be modest, is around $3,000. You need $3,000 that's going to take care of your rent, bills, everything else, your little snacks, all that stuff's going to take care of $3,000. That's what you need. Now, you bring in a month around $5,000, $5,000. And after bills is paid, you got $2,000 in your pocket, $2,000 left. All your bills paid, you got food, bills paid, you got $2,000 left a month for you to go do whatever the hell you need to do with it. So, automatically that $3,000 goes into that account that's for bills. And you pay your bills, take care of your bills. Sometimes your bills is less than what you think it is. So it's money left over and that adds up. But you have your bills account taken care of. So how I do it is I have that separate account, for my bills. And I make sure, I have my main account that most of the money's coming in. I use PayPal for basically almost everything I do business-wise because it's amazing. And I'll give you another pointer on why you should be using PayPal if you have a business and you're going to like it. But I have the PayPal, that stuff coming into my PayPal, and I use PayPal as like a private central bank. And I use it to basically fund my other banks that I have. So I have it set up to where a certain amount comes out and goes into such and such bank. And that's just how I do it. So then you have the account for the bills. And you don't need an account for this. This stuff you can really handle easily. And if you have the money coming in, you can automate it. And you set that up. You have the money coming out to take care of the bills. You have money going from the $2,000 you got left. Let's say you take $500 of that. It goes into a savings account. And you have $1,500 that just stays in your personal account for whatever. You just have it in there. And then now you're sitting on that money. Everything else is taken care of. Maybe you want to go buy some clothes or whatever like that. Everything is taken care of, and you have saving. You have leftover money to spend. It's just an analogy. Now, the problem is, and what happens is, we overdo shit. One, we know our bills is $3,000. We know we only get $5,000. You know you're only going to have $2,000 left to spend for yourself. And the problem is, what people do is they spend over that $2,000. That's the number you should be being mindful of. It's the $2,000. You don't want to spend over $2,000 from your $5,000 because you know that's going to eat into your bills. So what people do is when they get their $5,000, they go buy this, they go buy that, they go buy a bunch of meaningless stuff they don't need that eats into the $2,000 they know they're going to have for themselves. Now they spent the $2,000 and they're eating into the bill money. And then bills come, I put a little bit on this bill, I put a little bit on that bill, and they do that. That gets the collectors off your back. Nobody's collecting money. You gave them something, it's fine. But then that adds on to the next bill. The bills is not paid in full. It adds on to the next bill and begins to add up. Meanwhile, the money you had left over, from that you should have paid all to bills, you just pinching off of it here and there all through the month. Little here, little there, go there and do this, go there and do that. It's no organization to the money you just had coming in, to that $5,000. It's not organized. Next thing you know, that $5,000 is gone before the money's even over. Your bills did not get paid in full. The next $5,000 comes in, your bills are higher than before. And people do the same thing over again until they get to the point where they can't pay their bills and shit get cut off. There's no organization. When you have organization to how you pay bills and how you live and how you use your money, your life will change. So now all that really falls into as well, mindset and mentality. Because if your mindset and mentality is correct, you won't do stuff like that. But let's keep it real. Let's be real. I'm from the hood. I grew up poor. I know how it is. I know how it is to be living off of, ramen noodles and, little 99-cent sodas and everything, 99-cent chips and all that. Did all that. I know what that's like. And a lot of people will tell you that they don't make enough to cover their bills because of their job. And that's on them. You can't live outside your means. That's a huge problem. That's already a no-no. We don't even got to get into that. Damn well, if you're only making $1,000 a month, you can't afford a $2,000 rent. That's exactly what you'll be. It's house poor. Plain and simple. So we know that. So the thing is, again, it comes into the realm of you're not being accountable for what you do, and you don't have organization to the money that you have. So when I said earlier about this is really going to factor into your unique lifestyle and how you live. So you have a job. If you don't have salary, you may not know exactly how much money you're going to get at the end of the month. And some people get paid weekly. Some people get paid, bi-weekly. But when you're getting paid. Plain and simple. So a lot of people do their whole thing. Well, this check, I'm going to do this. But then the next check, I'm just going to go to bills. It's no real type of organization. And I mean responsible organization with your money. And that's the thing. A lot of people feel like, well, I don't want to pay all the bills right now because then I'm going to be broke. I'm not going to have no money for me. Well, what is the for me? If all your bills are paid, you got food that lasts you through the month, what else is there? And that's the problem. A lot of people want to go, I want to play. I deserve to buy these shoes. I deserve to get this. I deserve to get that. You deserve to stay exactly where you are because you're never going to get nowhere thinking like that. Plain and simple. You are behind already. You are behind. Now you can do stuff like that and say those kind of things if you know, well, I have 3 months rent put away. I have over $1,000 saved in my savings account. And I know it's going to be money left over after I pay all the bills. I have that money to spend. So I want to go and spend some money on myself. Then you can say that. But you can't say that if you don't have 3 months saved. You don't have money in the savings account, $1,000 at least. And that money you just got paid got to go to bills. You behind on bills. It's a mindset. And this is what we do because, the bill collectors are the way that they are. Pay them a little bit of money to leave you alone. And what people don't realize is stuff like that, late payments and everything, it hurts your credit. And it just hinders you and it puts you in a hole, and it's going to really cause a problem later on. So again, what happens is, people know electric bill's too high. They got this expensive ass cable bill that they don't want to get rid of. Rent is already high. And as I said, when they get their check, if they paid all their bills up, they broke. They broke. And unfortunately, that's the reality for a lot of people. If they paid all their bills up, they might not have enough money for food. So there's a problem. And this may be a lot of you. You may not have money left over. But all that happens is you go into a phase where you have to really, figure out what's really important. What's more important. And for the most part, if you stand at a place, you got utilities, you take care of that, you take care of rent, you buy food. Anything left over, if you can save, you save. But if you have nothing left over and after you pay bills, you're just done, or you don't make enough to cover bills, as I said, that's a huge problem. You shouldn't be in that situation in the first place. Then what is there to do? What do you do? And for a lot of people, depending on what they can do, they go out and get a second job to bring in more income. A lot of people got little side hustles to bring on more income. But what I have found in looking at a lot of these situations is a lot of people's problem is not the fact that they don't make enough. It's just they blow the money that they make. Which is why I talked about mentality, being accountable, having the mindset to recognize the issue. And that's the thing. A lot of people understand that they overspend. They buy stuff that they shouldn't buy, that they really can't afford, because there's no real accountability. There is no real organization to the money that they have coming in. So they go ahead and spend money because they have money. And that really eats into and affects the whole process we're discussing here. Just again, using the 5,000, you got 5,000 coming in a month. Your total expense is going to be 3,000. You got $2,000 left over. You save 500. You got 1,500 to spend. Bills paid. Got enough food to last you for the month. What are you going to do with that 1,500? And you got 1,500. You can really blow. That's going to last you through the month. Just here and there, going to go buy stuff or what have you. Now, if you like most people and you work a 9 to 5 and you work every day, you might have 2 days off. I don't know too many people that's going to blow 1,500, with 2, 4, let's say 8 days off in a month. You're going to blow, 1,500 in 8 days. Of course you can. It's really easy. But most people, when you get off from work, you want to chill, you want to relax. Now, if you're going to work and you're at work most of the day, you get off and you come home, you got food. It might be something else that you want that you might forgot. You can go ahead and spend money here and there. But let's just say out of that 1,500 that's left over through the month, just by getting little stuff here and there, let's just be conservative and say you spend half that money. Let's just say you end up spending, you end up spending 700 out of the 1,500. So now you spend 700 out of the 1,500 because all you doing during a month is going to work and coming home. You're not really hitting the club. You're not going out on no shopping spree. You're not really doing too much. Maybe you might go to the movies. You might do something like that. But for the most part, you only end up spending 700 of that 1,500, right? So that leaves you with 800 left that's going to go right into your savings account. So the process repeats itself. You got another 2,000 left over. You now have saved 1,300. You repeat the process. Just think about how much that keeps adding up with those numbers. Now, that might not be your numbers. Your numbers may be less, maybe more. But with that type of process and understanding, having a mindset that I don't really need to go and I can't go below this money. I need to have a nice, hefty savings for my plans down the line. So let's say you keep this process up for a year. And, without really going too much into the math, you keep the process up a year, 12 months, you end up saving, over 12 grand, 13 grand, something like that. End of the year. Boom. You done save 12 grand. Income tax right around the corner. This is about to go right into your account, or you can do whatever with that now because you done save so much. You follow this process and you keep on adding on and your savings grow and grow and grow. And this is how you win. This is how you get ahead. And this is exactly what I did to propel myself forward. Sacrifice. And that's the problem. A lot of people are not willing to sacrifice. And again, this goes back into mentality, mindset, not letting what you see on TV get to you or what your friends don't get to you. You have a goal you're trying to reach. You have a certain amount that you need to save. You have certain things that you need to do. You have a goal to reach. And, you're following a process. This is just the beginning stages, what we're talking about here. This is how you begin. So we can do it again with different budgets. If your expenses is $1,000 a month, or, only $2,000 a month, hopefully you're making at least $2,000 a month. If you are not making $2,000 a month, your expenses are too high. That's the problem. You are living outside your means. So you need to go ahead and downgrade an apartment to something that you can't afford. Downgrading whatever you're doing to something that you can't afford. There's no way the money you bring in a month should be less than your expenses. That's the problem. That's something you got to fix immediately, because then you can't save. You have to go out and get a second job or something to that effect. This is for when you really starting out. And some people can do that. Some people can go get 2 jobs, and you have a lot of people now doing Uber and Lyft to make ends meet, to help out with the whole process and to get a lot of extra money. But this is the perfect opportunity now for people to use those type of services. And you got some people that's too proud to do it, but to use those services to really grow wealth. I have a lot of friends. I have about 5 friends that's doing Uber and Lyft that's making a killing. I have friends that have quit their jobs to do Uber and Lyft, and they're making crazy money. I have friends that's making $1,000 a week doing Uber and Lyft. And it depends on, what city you're in and how dedicated you are to making that money. But there's a lot of things out there that you can do to add on to your income. If you are living outside your means, you just got to be willing to do it. And you also have to understand that you're taking on another responsibility that's going to take away from any type of freedom that you're trying to have, as far as getting off work and being able to go chill or hang out or what have you. You working 2 jobs, probably not going to be able to do that. So again, this goes back into sacrifice. You got to be willing to sacrifice. You got to have the mindset. You got to have the mentality. You got to have the savings and the security to do what you need to do to go forward. So this series, purposely putting it out in January, the beginning of the year. Some of you guys are getting income tax money, and you're going to be able to, save some money, hopefully, or, get yourself out of debt, hopefully. And this is where you start the process at. And you need to be dedicating at least a year to this process. And that's the thing. This is what we're going to be getting into, talk about during this series, the process. You need to be dedicating this entire year to saving, to the process, to saving, bringing in multiple incomes and saving. You have to do it. And you'll realize as you're going and as you're having this energy that you're putting out of having wealth and having money, that's what you'll attract. As we talk about in frequency DVD, you will start attracting that energy, that frequency of money, because now your whole mindset and energy is focused on saving, collecting on money, generating wealth, and not doing what I can do with the money I get. You got to have a plan. You got to start somewhere. And this is how you start. Everything I'm telling you is what I have done in the plan I set out for myself that worked, and it worked with a lot of my friends who follow exactly what I'm going to be talking about in this series. And it's things that you can do that you have to do personally first in order to be successful, in order to move ahead. Or you're going to be exactly where you are at now, or with the rest of the people that's stuck in the rat race doing the same thing. Remember, as I said, they successfully got millions of people to do the same exact thing. And nobody's thinking outside the box. And the people that are the people who are hated on and that are, successful, that are doing big things. You got to think outside the box, plain and simple. And you got to stop having doubt. You got to stop having fear. You got to stop putting yourself down and thinking you can't do something, and stop being lazy. Laziness is another thing that happens because people don't know. Again, you have to have the understanding, the know-how, which is what I'm giving you here. I'm going to be giving you here to complete these steps. And if you're not willing to sacrifice, it's not going to happen. Plain and simple. So this is huge to remember that. But, having the mindset and the mentality and, saving your money, having that security set aside just in case stuff happens. Too many times people get into problems and they just stuck. And if they would have followed this process, they would have had the savings to bail them out that process. Now what happens is when you don't have the savings and the backup money to fix the problem that occurs, you go into debt. You got to borrow from this person. You got to borrow from that person. You got to take out a loan. So now any monies you got coming in is automatically, you got to pay it back out. you're hindering the process. Again, we're going to stick to that process. $5,000 a month, $3,000 in bills and utilities or what have you, rent, $2,000 left for yourself. You put $500 away to save. You got $1,500 left. If you're going to work anyway every single day, what are you going to blow $1,500 on in a month? Little snacks here and there that shouldn't equal $1,500. So again, we said $700 and put that other $800 in the savings account, in your savings. And this is what you should do based upon your income and how you got money coming in. And stick to a plan that's similar to this. And save what you can save. People think, only because they can only save $50, that's nothing. That $50 adds up. Especially if you get paid twice a month, that's $100 a month. It's all going to come in handy when you need the money. Stop getting caught up in what everybody else is doing. Be that person that takes that time off, and when you pop back up, everybody like, damn, what'd she do? What'd he do? Because that's what I did. When I disappeared and went to Sweden, there wasn't too many people looking for me. But when I popped back up, when people started seeing the pictures of me posting pictures from all over the world and my cars, when I got my BMW and everything, everybody was like, whoa, what are you doing? And people wanted to understand, like, what just happened. I disappeared and I came back, put together the plan, saved for that entire year. By the end of the year, I was sitting on a lot of money. And, now you got the security. In case anything happens like that again, security is there. You got your savings there. And let's say, something does happen. You go through the whole year, save your money. Remember, you got your 3 months saved up. Something happens to where, you lose your job or whatever like that. You're out of work for a month. That money is there. You got 3 months saved. You take, boom, a month out of that saved money. Go ahead and pay all your bills. You end up getting a job within the month. You take the money that you took from your savings for your bills out of your savings account, put it right back there. So you got 3 months again, and boom, you start working. That money comes back. I mean, it's a process. It's a process to where you're always having money going into your savings account every time you get paid. You're sacrificing the bullshit stuff that we fall victim to, going to these concerts and buying these shoes that we don't need and buying stuff that's really harmful to our health. Not living right, not eating right, not being focused on the future. Don't fall victim to that. You have money being saved. And it's a process. You keep that process going. And that's the thing. That is just the bottom line, foundation for doing what we're going to be talking about later, talk about next. Plain and simple. If you are not doing this, you're not going to be able to do anything else. Because your foundation, you don't have one. So you can't build without a foundation. Everything is just going sink in the mud. So if you don't have this basic foundation to where your mind is right, you saving, you got security, you're not going to be able to do anything else. Plain and simple. So now, after you got your mind right, you got your savings going, a year done passed, you done saved about 12 grand. Now you can focus on your credit. If your credit is good, you're good. You just got no problems. Some of you just need to establish credit. Meaning get a credit card, get a car note, which is the best way, the fastest way to build credit. And some people just need to really pay down any debt that they have. Now, if you have debt, after a year done passed, you got 12 grand saved. I mean, if you got more than 12 grand in debt, let's just leave out student loans and let's let that go. Don't worry about that. Student loans is going to be there. It's going to take a while for a lot of us to pay off. But a lot of people that run the credit, a lot of institutions look at student loans and everything, and they don't really count that all the time as being debt. They look at everything else, but if you got student loan, they understand it's going to take you a while to pay it off. And, it's only going to really affect your credit score if you're not paying it off, if you're not paying on student loans. And that's the thing, when you get through this process and you have that money saved, and you can begin to pay on student loans, and you can work out all kinds of deals, with that. Then you can afford to pay it off. You can afford to allocate a certain amount of money to paying off that debt to where you're paying on it, which is going to help, boost your credit score. Any other of those little stupid shit that you might have, Sprint bill, an AT&T bill, cable bill, or what have you, you need to get with those companies and work out a plan. A lot of people are scared to call these people and just, hey, I know I owe you money. It's probably in collections. Call the collection people up and figure out a plan. Tell them that, hey, I want to pay this off. This is what I can pay a month. Can we work out something? Or can you give me a settlement to where, I pay half and I'm done? A lot of people just don't care. They say, well, I'm really literally going to wait 7 years until this shit is off my record until I pay it back. Not knowing that, it's just destroying your credit. It's just hurting your credit. And your credit is huge in America. It's just huge. And, I'm talking to you guys basically playing the game. Now, of course, I understand, and I always talk about this shit. All this stuff is a sham. It's bullshit. We shouldn't have to be, susceptible to all this crap. I'll have to deal with it. We know it's bullshit. But I'm being real here. If you want real success and you want to do something real within your lifetime, you have to play this game, unfortunately. I had to do it, and many other people had to as well. You can't just get so caught up with consciousness and everything like that and just be like, I'm just going to not try to be successful and just be about the revolution. And you're going to be old and be about the revolution is going to pass you. You got to be realistic and understand that this is the way to go to get ahead and to get around all the bullshit. Because I experienced life totally different from a lot of people. When I be talking to a lot of people and they be telling me about issues that they have, I don't experience a lot of that stuff because I move differently. I'm in with a different crowd. I'm doing different things. I don't do what everybody else is doing. So a lot of stuff don't bother me. And I don't put myself in positions where it's going to be an issue. And at the same time, I still have fun. I still hang out with my friends. We still do a lot of stuff. I can still buy what I want to buy. And it's about putting yourself in the right position and not being too caught up in anything else. Understanding, again, having a mindset and a mentality that it's all a game. It's a game. Dick Gregory, as I said, he always said it's a game. He's so right. He was so right about that. Every time he said it, I was like, yeah, I know. I see it now. Before I didn't see it. It's a game. And they playing it, and you got to play it. It's just that simple. We sitting around, and as I said before, we don't realize it's competition. How everything is a competition. School is a competition. After school, we graduate, we got to compete for a job. And then we got to compete for promotion. We got to compete for everything. Everything is competition, our entire society. They compete for, who got the best house, the best car. You competing with your friends, competing with your family. We got competition in the music industry, best new artist, best female vocalist. Same thing with entertainment, with acting and everything. Best actor, best actress. It's everywhere. It's always competition. Sports, competition, everything. And we not playing the game, and we got to start playing. Again, they're not going to just pass some laws that's going to allow us to surpass them or to get ahead in this game. And they're cheating the whole time anyway. So we got to be that much more better than they are, and that much more mindful than they are. We all understand why credit is important, and having a good credit score is important because you can't really do too much in society as far as credit, because this is a debt-based society. So you need credit. The Federal Reserve, what they do is they give credit. They decide how much credit, how much money is going to be sent out to give us. So they decide how much money each bank is going to have to lend to you. Plain and simple. You got to understand that's how it works. Your credit is everything because we are in debt. It's a debt-based system. Your money is debt. And we all know about all this stuff, but it's debt. Credit is important because this is how we operate here in America. So while you got this cycle going on to where you're paying your bills, you saving money, and now you got a little bit extra to repair your credit. If your credit score is under 600, if it's over 600, you're good. But now you got this cycle going. You got your credit score over 600. It's at this time you start implementing a plan. Now it starts to implement the plan and get the plan together to go ahead and move forward to start building success, building wealth, and really start generating, a lot of money. A lot of people try to set plans, make goals. A lot of people say, I want to do this, I want to do that. And they have no foundation. No foundation to stand on, nothing to back them up. They don't have any savings. They don't have a contingency plan. They're not managing the money they got coming in, but they have these plans, things they want to do. And they set out with no foundation to do this stuff and run into all kinds of problems. See, now if you have these 3 steps out the way, you have these things done, your mind is right, you have savings and security, you have your credit is building and everything, then you can begin to pursue the plan, the goal. May it be a house, a new car, or, small business, you have a foundation now. You can go ahead and start doing this stuff, because what's going to happen in a lot of cases is, especially if you're pursuing like a new job or a small business or become an entrepreneur, you might have to quit your job and go ahead to business for yourself. But at least you have those 3 months of contingency where if things ain't going right, you have 3 months taken care of to where you can go ahead and build your business. You got 3 months contingency as well as your savings to go ahead and start your plan. And that's the problem. We haven't been really taught this. A lot of people don't know that it really takes a foundation to stand on. And I'm speaking to people who don't understand that, when you don't have generational wealth, you don't have that family support there, you're doing all this from yourself, from the muscle, this is the way to go. I'm not going to make a video, contingent on people who have family with money, or they got somebody they can call with money. I'm talking about strictly people from the hood and people who trying to work themselves up, from their own bootstrap, pull themselves up, on their own. You don't really have somebody you can run to and say, I need 10,000, 12,000 to start this plan. And you have people who have families, they got a lot of money, people who can help out, to help them out. Most people don't have that. So you got to start somewhere, but you can't do anything without a foundation. And your foundation begins with you becoming stable. It's the key word, stable. And stable, how you stabilize a property is you have a strong foundation. That way, when you begin to build on that foundation, it's stable. The house is stable. Everything comes out right. Nothing is wobbly and shaky, and you don't got to worry about everything falling over on you. So this foundation is important. Having the right plan and the right goals set up correctly is important. And it's going to be contingent on the foundation. It's just that simple. So now you have this contingency where you got 3 months, bills and everything saved up. You have a savings already. You got income coming in. What do you want to do? And most people, first thing they say is, they want a house. A lot of people want houses. A lot of people want financial freedom. They want to be independent. They don't have to rely on work. But guess what? You have already put yourself in a really good position to fulfill both problems. And this is exactly what I did. And the whole thing is, you don't need a 600 credit score these days to get a mortgage. You got between 10 to 30% down, 600 credit score, you can walk into a bank and get a mortgage if you've been at your job long enough. And if you have a savings and you have a contingency plan, you got that extra money sitting there as collateral anyway, guess what? You're going to get the money. Credit score is 600, that money sitting there, the banks will work with you now. Now, since everybody's goals and plans is different, your strategy is going to be different. I can only give you my strategy and what I did, give you an example of how I helped a couple friends and myself to do exactly what I'm telling you right here. And that was one. Once I had my savings, I had my contingency, and I had money coming in, and I wanted to get a property. Now, my goal was strictly for resale. My goal was strictly for a profit. A lot of people's goal is, they want a house, they got a family, they got kids, they need a place to stay. But you got to think about something. If your goal is to be financially free, be smart about it. Be smart about it. So one, you get to this point where you have savings and you can qualify for a mortgage. Now, a lot of people get happy when they get that money. You get a mortgage, they give you $500,000 for a house. A lot of people, they're going to go buy a house for $500,000. It's just that simple. Instead of saying, you know what, I have a job. I'm paying rent where I'm at, but I have a system, this foundation we're talking about, to where you can stay in that apartment for a little bit longer. But since you do qualify for this mortgage, why don't you go ahead and use that money to invest in real estate? And this is what I started out doing. So when I got approved, I was saying, you know what is the smartest thing to do? You tell them that you want a loan. You want a loan because you want to go ahead and be a real estate investor. You want to invest in real estate. It doesn't matter exactly what you're doing. A real estate investor is one of their best friends. They take properties off the bank's hands and flip them. So if you get approved for this mortgage, let's say $500,000, you get approved for that mortgage. Then you go ahead and you buy a property that you can flip. It's a lot of shows on TV that gets into flipping properties, but a lot of people don't understand there are different ways of acquiring these properties without using, a shitload of money. And you can do it through tax liens, which is what I use. And what tax liens is, you can go ahead and your city, guarantee you, has a list that you can get from the sheriff's department, the sheriff's office, or the county clerk's office, or, even from local banks. They will actually give you their foreclosure list or their tax lien list if you call and ask for it, if you're an investor. And you get the tax lien list, and you can look at properties that have tax liens on them. And as you can see here, you have houses that the tax lien is low. I mean, 3,000, 6,000, 10,000 and up. But the properties themselves, once in, the right condition, will of course appraise for a lot more. Now with tax liens, how they work, is if, let's say, the lien on the property around 3,000, and you go ahead and you pay the 3,000. So what happens is you are listed as a co-owner of that property, and the bank will notify the owner that they have a certain amount of time to pay back the lien on the property, as well as give you your money back with interest. So no matter what, you are not losing money from the jump. You're already making money as soon as you go ahead and assume the lien. Because now when that owner comes, because it has a certain amount of time, I believe in some places it's up to 2 years actually. So it's a good investment, but it's still, you have to note that this is money that's going to be tied up for a while, but it's worth it. Because a lot of times it don't take that long. A lot of times it's less time, and you can go ahead and take the property. Because what you do is when they don't come back and pay off the lien and pay you your money, you can go ahead and file for the house to be yours. And the house will become yours. You'll be the sole owner of the house. And you just paid $3,000 for a house that's probably worth 100 grand, 200 grand. You go ahead, you put money into that property, flip it, and there you go. It's a big profit. In most cases, the bank being a lien holder and you being an investor, you can probably get the mortgage you need from that bank to go ahead and flip that property. They'll give you the money to go ahead and do the whole thing. In a lot of cases, depending on your credit, depending on where you're at as far as a real estate investor. But you won't get there without having the foundation. You got the foundation established. Now, anybody with the money can go ahead and assume the lien. But if you go ahead and pay $3,000 for a property and you don't got the money to fix it up, what's the point? So you want to have things in order before you even go ahead and tackle something like that. But that's just one of the ways. It's just one of the many ways you can go ahead and grab properties. And one of the fastest ways of building money and getting, freedom is to really get into the market, to get into this real estate market. Because even if you go ahead and start getting properties and let's say you convert them into apartments, there go your bills right there. That's the mortgage as well. So what you do is, first unit that I got, I changed it to 3 apartments. You go ahead and you rent those out. One of the apartments will pay off the mortgage. The other 2 is just profit. Plain and simple. It's just profit. You have somebody go ahead and, if you ain't manage it yourself, you probably pay somebody to manage it or go check on it. But in the beginning stages, you're doing all the stuff yourself because you want to learn how to do it. And, you have an income property. It's an income property. Now, since Airbnb, which I just started getting into, is doing very, very well, it's the best time to be getting apartments and renting them out during Airbnb, where you got people just coming in and using apartments like a hotel. It's a lot of money, and you have to deal with leases and tenants and all that kind of stuff. It's just a continuous cycle. If your apartment building or your apartment, your house or what have you is in the right location, you can make a lot of money doing Airbnb. Plain and simple. So there's so many different ways that you can go with your plan. It's going to be unique to whatever you're trying to do, but it's contingent on the foundation you establish first, that you can start branching out and start implementing any plan or any goals that you are trying to accomplish. So with that foundation being strong and you have that money coming in and you have that savings and you got that contingency plan, you're good to go. You can't fall. And again, the problem is we have not been taught this. This sounds like far-fetched to a lot of people. It may sound foreign to you. You may be like, well, it's not that easy. Why ain't it? Why ain't it? It's really that easy. Now, for anybody who may be thinking that, I'm too far in debt, I'm never going to be able to pay off my debt and get my credit score up, you got to remember, too, as well. It's not so much about what you owe. It's about re-establishing credit and then having a whole new plan or a whole new record of you paying on time. That's going to boost your score. That can also boost your score. So even if you owe, a bunch of money, once you reestablish credit, if you can get credit from anybody and you reestablish and you set up, a plan to where you're paying on time, that boosts your score. Still going to owe, but your score can still go up using other means. Even if it's a phone bill and you're paying that on time, because that stuff gets marked. A lot of people don't understand that when you pay on time, they report it on your credit at a lot of places, and that's what you want. They'll actually have it up there to where you have a history, it'll be in a green, of you paying on time on your credit report. And then it'll be like late and it'll be in the red, and you'll see it affects your points. They go up and down. So a lot of people are not mindful of that. And when you're checking your credit score and you keep applying for credit, it's as if, a lot of people say, oh, it don't affect your score. It affects your score. Your score will change if somebody keep running your credit. So, be mindful of that, because that's real. A lot of people think that's real. I'll tell you from experience. People keep running your credit. It shows up on your credit report. Everybody who looked at your credit within a certain span. And it's like, why all these people running his credit? That means he ain't got no money. That means something is wrong. If I keep running his credit, you got to keep applying for credit. And it definitely affects your score. So definitely look into that. But credit score is definitely not everything when you got cash anyway. But if you're going to be trying to get into anything down the line that involves an investment or putting up a lot of money, you want to have your credit right. Now, trust me, this is not a hard plan to really implement. It's not a hard foundation to establish, which brings me to my next part, which is discipline and focus. As long as you got the discipline and the focus, you can get right through this. You can get to these points. What I'm telling you here is simple, basic stuff. And that's basically what we got to get through in this first one. It's simple and basic. It's just stuff that you have control over that you can do yourself. If you do not agree with this plan and you have established something different or better, then go with that. Whatever works for you. I'm giving you my plan on what I have seen work and have seen others use that works. And I have a lot of plans. When my friends come and we talk about this, I've been on the phone for hours with people, helping them with their life, talking to them about what they need to do because, they told me their unique situation. Well, my bills is this. I have this much coming in, And then you basically lay down the plan that we just talked about. And it's really up to them to have the discipline and the focus to get through it. It's just that simple. And if you have that and you don't cheat yourself and you don't procrastinate, because that's the problem. A lot of people procrastinate. They cheat themselves. They say, oh, well, I can spend this money because I'm going to put it back when I get paid. But you don't have to do stuff like that if you stick to the plan. Remember, you already put money aside for savings. You have this amount left. If you're constantly working and doing what you're supposed to do, you're not going around bullshit and blowing your money, you're going to always have money. There's going to always be some money left over. So you take that, you throw it back in your savings. You should, after a year, you should have a nice chunky savings. And if you actually do get income tax money, that's a big boost right there. That's why a lot of people, when they get that money, they have their contingency, they have their savings, they take their income tax money and they buy themselves a present because they had a whole year of saving money and doing what they were supposed to do. You take that income tax money, save some if you want, but go on vacation, buy yourself something, continue the cycle, or be smart, throw it in your savings. Grab yourself something nice, but throw most of it in your savings. Keep the cycle going and have that savings. If you do that, you can't go wrong. This is basic, people. This is basic. This is the way we are not living. We're living paycheck to paycheck because we choose to. And a lot of people are going to say, oh, that's bullshit. No, you choose to. You're spending your money on bullshit. And you try to justify it by any other type of way. Well, I need this. Well, my kids need this. Well, we need this. Budget. Plan. Remember, your kids' clothes and all that stuff is going into that monthly amount, that contingency. So, if you spend, $500, $1,000 on kids' clothes a month, which is crazy, then that goes into the contingency. It goes into that plan. And again, you have to really factor that in when you're coming up with that contingency. Do you think that you're going to be buying new clothes and new sneakers every single month? I mean, that's not realistic. You might buy a shirt here, a pair of pants there, but that can come out of that money you got left over after you throw the $500 in savings. You got the $1,500 left. You might want to go buy $100 or a $200 pair of sneakers. You can afford to buy a new pair of sneakers every month with the $1,500 left. New pair of sneakers for $200. You have $1,300 left. You can spend another $500, let's say, on pants and shirts, and you still got another freaking $800 left. You know, and you just, what are you buying all that stuff for anyway? You're going to work all week. You're trying to save anyway. So that's what I'm saying. You don't really need that stuff. You're going to work every day. You got 2 days off. On your days off, you're doing what? You chilling. You saving. You're being smart for this year. And it's going to keep adding and boosting your savings account because you're not going out and cheating yourself saying, I deserve this, I need that. I'm not saying deprive yourself of fun for a year. I'm saying be smart. Everything is still there. I'm telling you, this plan is foolproof. It's foolproof. You just have to have the focus and the discipline to follow it and not go outside your means. And that's the thing. The discipline and the focus is everything, because it's real easy to get caught up in your friends going on vacation. And that's one of the things social media is designed for, to get you to buy shit that you don't really need, to get you to want to be like somebody you shouldn't want to be like, to get you to do things that you shouldn't want to do right now. You not in that position. You ain't got it. You ain't got it. And it's keeping it real. You can't buy watches like this, and you can't do all that stuff right now. You can't do it. Be smart. Be smart. Save your money, because I was there without nothing. And now, you know, I can afford to buy a watch that's over 10 grand. I can afford to buy a little stupid shit because I sacrifice. If you're not willing to sacrifice, you're not going to be able to do it. And it's a year. It's 1 year. Now, what's going to happen is you're not going to do it. That year going to go by, and you're going to calculate all the money you possibly could have saved. And then now what? You're right back where you started from. Trying to figure out a plan and trying to do something to fix your situation when you had a plan given to you. And here it is. It's January. This is the beginning. It's January. By the end of December, we're going to see who got that money. We're going to see who ain't bullshitting. Because this is the system that they use, that everybody uses. It's just a normal basic system. And it works. It works, but it's contingent on you having a discipline, having a focus, being willing to sacrifice, being willing to do what you need to do to make your foundation strong. So when you begin to build on it, your plan and your strategy and what have you, you know, everything works out for you. Now, a lot of times what I see happen with a couple of people that I was trying to help out is they tell me their situation. They tell me their life and what they're doing and what's going on. And I give them a plan. I tell them what they should do, and they don't do it. And it's like, it's just do it. A lot of people, you give them a basic plan and they look at you like, you know, it's rocket science. Like it's the most complicated thing in the world, because you told them they need to save their money. And they just like, they can't comprehend that. I can't stand when you tell people, you give people a plan to do something to make them make money and to help their life. They don't go crazy. They don't get engaged. They zone out and act like you didn't just give them a good plan, or you didn't just really put them in a better position, or, you know, help them out. It's like, what are you waiting for? Go do it. And then it's like, when you talk to them later on, it's like, yo, did you do that? Oh no, I ain't get around to it. It's like, what? From what you told me, you need to stop bullshitting and do this. And the next thing you know, they ask you for money, or they hitting you up with a sob story about something, and they hitting that they need money. A lot of people end up putting themselves in bad positions because they psych themselves out, or they think something is too hard to where they don't really want to put the work in to do it. And there's so many people that get caught up in stuff like that. And I hate when I see that happen. I hate it, especially the black folks, because we already set back and we already got issues. But when you let your own fears and doubt hinder you, it's just a sad thing. You ain't going to get nowhere. Again, it's a mindset. You got to be mentally strong and really ready to put the time in and sacrifice to be successful. If you thought this was just going to be some easy stuff that you can go ahead and jump online and do, and I was going to give you guys some pointers and tips to go ahead and put your money here and there, you still need a foundation first. You still need a foundation. That's what it's about. You need this foundation. And you shouldn't be starting to jump into anything unless you have a foundation. unless you're building on something. If you ain't got you ain't got $1,000, what are you doing? Some people ain't got $100. What are you doing? And, you know, when I start putting out the DVDs and everything and selling the downloads and all that, I wasn't expecting people to buy. You know, it's a shame that, you know, more people from America don't buy as much as Europe and Africa. And how Africa got America beat. That's crazy that more people buy from Africa than here. But the thing is, I already understood, you know, how we look at stuff. It's the mindset that they programmed us with. It's, man, I ain't buying that shit. What? How much? I'm not paying that money. And a lot of people, you know, it is what it is on that. Some people have that mentality to where they won't even pay to further their education or further their success. And that's what a lot of people have that issue with. They don't want to really put the work in or spend the money to benefit themselves. And that includes saving money. Because some people act like saving money is spending money. When that's retarded. You got the money right there. Money is still there. You saving it, it's your money. And you got to burn a hole in your pocket, people, where they just can't save money for nothing. And that's a mental issue. That's a problem you have. I had the same problem. So what I used to do was when I sent money to my account for savings, I didn't have a debit card for that account. Plain and simple. It took me a long time to finally have a debit card for that account to where, you know, I had enough money to where, well, I'm not never going to spend this money anyway. I'm cool. And when you get to that point, that's when you get a debit card for it. Or you just don't get one anyway. You know, but that's what I did. So when I had my money going into my savings account, I never had a debit card for it. If I wanted to take money out, I had to go all the way to the bank to do it. So what I did was I went Navy Federal Credit Union, and that's where I was putting my money at. And guess what? I had to go way the hell out freaking Winfield, or where the hell was that at? In Philadelphia. No, it wasn't Philadelphia. It was up so West Bubblefuck somewhere in Philly. I forget. Willow Grove. That's where it was. Willow Grove in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I had to go way out there, which is far. If you're from Philly, you know how far it is from North Philadelphia to get my money out. So I was never getting the money out. So the money ended up stacking because the bank was so damn far away. It was the only one. And unless I went to Jersey, which was even further. So it was easy for me. Next thing you know, you start seeing the money grow and grow. And you're like, damn, I got this much. And it started to make you feel happy. It eases the pain, you know. You don't feel worried or stressed about nothing anymore. You know you got this nice savings. You got a contingency plan in place. You feel ready to go ahead and just, you know, keep doing what you're doing. Make you happy to get up and go to work, and make you happy to get up and go doing what you're doing, knowing you got this money. You got the backup plan, and you're working towards something. But if you're getting up and you're going to work and you know you ain't got shit, you don't know what you're going to do when the bills come, this is your problem. It's your fault. Plain and simple, because you don't have the discipline to go ahead and do what you need to do. You don't have the foundation. And for a lot of you, the problem is just simply you don't have the understanding. You don't have the know-how. You don't have somebody to give you what I'm saying here. That may seem like basic common sense because it is, but you haven't really taken it in as such yet. And now you get it, and it makes a lot of sense. You know, it's like, well, damn, you know what? I can do this. And I believe a lot of you can. And once you start to do it, you'll see what I'm talking about. After that first couple of months, when that money is there and you ain't spend it, 2 months pass and that money there, you're going to be like, damn, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Don't pay attention to that savings account. Let the money stack up. After 6 months, go and look at it. You're going to be like, wow. So now discipline and focus is huge. Your mindset can be right. You can be right. You got the right mentality and everything, but you got to keep that going. You got to have discipline. You got to have focus. And, you know, cause you'll get to a point to where you're like, well, shit, now I got 20,000 saved. I can afford to go buy this. I can afford to go do this. But remember, you're doing this because you have a long-term goal. You have a bigger, you know, a bigger plan, something bigger that you fighting for. So to keep that in mind, and the more you got in savings, the more you have, for collateral, you know, to do what you need to do. You know, that's good. It's good to have that savings. You don't want to go ahead and spend that big chunk of money. And it's like, damn, that's a whole year down the drain because you wanted to, you know, get some damn rims or something like that. Just smarter. Let that money build up. You'll be surprised at how high you can get it when you're saving, when you're not bullshitting around with your money and you're doing what you're supposed to do with it. Especially if you got kids. It's tougher to do something like this when you got kids because kids always need stuff. So that means that you got to be even more, you know, focused, even more focused and disciplined. You know, but I did this, you know, with my son. Like I said, I got a 17-year-old son. He'll be 18 this year. Did it. Plain and simple. And it's not hard. You can do the same type of thing. You just allocate that money and with your monthly money, the contingency, and you still got some money anyway here and there for when you need stuff. So it still all fits. It's still all possible based upon your income and what you got coming in. Some of you may have less after you save, and some of you may have more. But the point is that you're saving. And it may not seem like much, as I said, but this is a start. You got to get somewhere. And you got to start creating this energy to where you have an organized energy of wealth, of money. Because that's what you create when you have this system. You're creating an energy. You're creating an energy and you're creating a frequency for money. And as long as you're doing this and you have this established and you have this focus and consciousness on sticking with money in this system, you're going to start to attract, this stuff to you. Things are going to work out. Situations are going to happen for you, and it's going to add to your, savings account, to your bank account. And next thing you know, you're cool. You might find yourself in just the right situation that's going to set you up financially good for a long time. But if you're not creating that atmosphere and that energy for this money, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You're going to have this confused atmosphere to where every dime you get is confusion. You get money, you don't know what to do with it. You just holding it in your pocket. You ain't saving it. You just waiting to spend it. That's just like it's the atmosphere. It's the energy for losing money, because the whole time you got this money, your energy is going towards getting rid of the money to spend on something, not to save, not to plan or to add it towards your future. That's a negative energy you have dealing with money. This is why people get caught up in the same cycles over and over again. Easy come, easy go. They have money. Next thing you know, it's gone, and it's just a cycle. You shouldn't be grown and broke. That's just crazy to me. And people may think that, what I'm saying is like out of touch or out of reality with normal people. It's not. It's your fault because you're doing stupid shit with your money. And I see it all the time, man. I see it all the time. I done had friends ask me for money, and I'm seeing all the Instagram pictures and everything, and they got $200, $250 phones and Jordans and shit like that. I'm like, what? You ain't got $100. And I seen like $700, $1,000 worth of sneakers. The fuck is you doing? You got kids. How you got $100? That's crazy. So, it's people. And you know it is. You know it's you. You know you buying shit that you shouldn't buy, and you're not saving. You don't have a plan. You don't have a foundation. And this is the foundation you need to start building for yourself, because it's what white folks are doing. It's just normal. It's just simple to them. Simple economics, basic economics, personal economics that you should have, and a foundation for yourself and for your family. And this is what you should be doing. Now, you got a wife or a husband. God dang, y'all should be good. That's a whole paycheck. Y'all can go ahead and just allocate the bills. Y'all should come together on this thing. And it's easier when it's two of you. You can't be in a relationship and y'all one and y'all trying to be separate and hide y'all money and y'all both broke. How the hell are you in a relationship and both of y'all broke? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? So you got to have a plan. You got to have a foundation established to where, by now, you've been working for 5 years and you ain't got $1,000 in your bank account. The hell are you doing? You should be ashamed. And it's crazy to me. And I'm trying to rack my brain as to how, and of course I know how. You bullshitting. You bullshitting, one. And two, you just don't know what to do. You ain't know this. You ain't know what to do. You ain't think it was this simple or basic to really start, setting up a real good foundation. And you found yourself in a lot of problems. And then now you're trying to dig out these problems to where you can't really save money, because every time you get money, you got to go right back out the door to bills. And that's basically due to how, you didn't have a foundation in the first place. So now you got to dig yourself out, and you got to cement that foundation now and make it strong. And now you can begin to build on it. But again, even if you're in debt, it just takes you climbing out, still using the same system, but climbing out of debt, doing what you got to do, and make sure you're not freaking, you don't have, more bills or more money you got to pay a month than you have actually coming in a month. And that's just simple math. That's just not going to work. So now the next thing we're going to get into is income and opportunities, because in order to really, have this plan working for you, the more you have coming in, the more money you are generating, the better the situation will be. That's just obvious. So with income, most people, of course, you have your regular 9 to 5, your regular job. And that's for a lot of people, their only income. if they don't have a side hustle. You know what I'm saying? So right now, the internet is the best source. And a lot of people don't understand they are not really utilizing the internet for the many things that they can to make money. A lot of people are so immersed in social media, and they don't really understand how much money is to be made, in social media itself, and really building a product and a brand based upon the followers that you have. If you are in that market, if you have that kind of talent to create and, put out items. But, social media, the internet is the way. There are other means, as I talked about before, with Uber and Lyft. And that's just a huge thing right now, that if you have an up-to-date car and, you can go ahead and make pretty good money doing, Uber. And I know Lyft, they do it out here in Vegas, where you can basically go ahead and get to rent a car, and, Lyft will pay you out after the rental car is paid for. It's like rules. You get a certain amount of rides and, the car is paid for. But I know a couple of people that have rental cars that's doing Lyft out here in Vegas and are making, about $700 to $1,000 a week. And, it's a lot of ways to bring in extra money, and also have a full-time job. So you have with social media, you have YouTube, which is one of the major ways people are making extra money now with YouTube channels. And people who have a talent or are able to put out something to generate a huge buzz can get a lot of people coming to their channel where they can generate money. And a lot of people are, making things and selling products and using PayPal and using Facebook to sell things. I mean, there's so many little ways you can bring in extra money when you understand how. I have a friend who paints really well and sells that painting on Facebook. And, you had these dudes that be standing out there on a corner that be, drawing art and be trying to sell their art. Well, with social media, I mean, when you start putting that stuff up there, I seen this dude. He was just taking people profile pictures and drawing it and then just sending it to them, free. Like, I drew this for you, send it to the inbox and see, what they want something else done for money. And that's how he started out. And he has he had a whole website just dedicated. People would come there and they would just upload their Facebook pictures to him, or any kind of picture they want. And he would draw, for a price, like really nice, and send it to them, and all different kinds of styles, oil paintings or what have you. It's $1 million idea. Genius. And, it's a lot of different ways, that you can use talents and things you know how to do to, bring in more money. And once you have that extra income, that creates a lot more opportunities for you as far as, adding to your savings and being able to later branch off into other things. But it also gives you a little bit more freedom and leeway when you basically are trying to build and execute your plan, having that extra income, especially if it's something that's not going to take away too much time, So that's something you really want to try to focus on if you can, if you have the time, if you're not going to school and working at the same time, if you can find time to try to find somewhere where you can fit in something to make extra money. And a lot of people are not willing to drive Uber and Lyft. Understand that. A lot of people are not willing to get in front of the camera and jump on YouTube or what have you. A lot of people are not willing to do a lot of these things. But I mean, it's something you can do if you're not going to pick up an extra job to start generating more money. So that's something to definitely think about. Now, investments. Now, depending on where you are at, and I'm telling you this because a lot of people always say, I need to find somewhere to invest my money. Where can I put my money in? When the Bitcoin thing was going on, as I talked about, a lot of people was talking about putting their money into Bitcoin and investing and buying Bitcoin. If you do not have this foundation established already, you can't be investing in anything. You can't afford it. How are you investing in anything and you can't afford to lose the actual money? And that's the problem. Monkey see, monkey do. Everybody want to be like everybody else and do what everybody else is doing, not knowing that person's situation and understanding your own. Understand your own situation. You have no foundation. So what are you trying to invest in if you can't afford to lose the money? If you can't afford to gamble and lose, don't go gamble and lose. That's the problem. And that's one of the things people do. They see other people making money and they get jealous. They feel some type of way like, damn, I missed the boat. You don't know that person's circumstances to where they were able to invest, and you don't understand if they just got lucky or not. Of course, you want to get lucky as well, but can you really afford it? If you can afford to go ahead and blow thousands of dollars, a lot of money on an investment, then go right on ahead and do it. that's something you can afford to do, then do it. But if you don't have this foundation already set up and are really establishing and building towards, having that contingency and the savings that you want to go ahead and start implementing your plan, and, then you shouldn't be worried about investing right now. This is not the time. It's not at that point. We're going to get into investments, but right now isn't the time. It's not the time. You want to be building this foundation first. And that's why I wanted to get this part out, just this first initial part for laying the foundation to beginning to build success. Because if you're not willing to do this, what's in this DVD, there's no need to buy part 2 when we start getting into exactly what to do with that money and where to put it and what I have done and where I have put my money and how I have made certain moves and put myself in a good financial position to end up making $700,000 in a year. So if you ain't willing to, buckle up, sacrifice, and not think you're entitled to a whole bunch of shit because you work hard, everybody work hard, then this is not for you. It's not for you. You're not really ready to go on, and you're probably going to stay in the same place because you're not willing to sacrifice and invest in yourself, because that's where your money should be going, in you. And a lot of people don't understand when people say invest in yourself. This foundation that I'm talking about here is exactly what they're talking about. Investing in yourself. Taking that money and instead of bullshitting with it, putting it in your contingency. That means your 3 months saved of what your total bills and everything going to be, including rent, food, and having that savings. That's investing in yourself. That's having that money saved, sitting there waiting for you to be in the right financial position to go ahead and make the moves. Just come away, with the mindset of understanding you can't do what everybody else is doing. You can't get that lucky break like some people do. You're not going to be able to buy or live the way you see other people live just because you want to. The people that's willing to put in the hard work and willing to sacrifice always reap the rewards and the benefits. I mean, even if you use this plan and start doing it just to have money for the summertime, because that used to be my thing. I used to grind all winter and make sure I got fired like around, May, so I collect unemployment all summer and just be getting paid all summer and chilling. I used to do that. I was stupid, but it was like fun. It was like, because I was in the military and I had a degree. So anytime I applied for a job, I always got hired. It was real easy for me to work hard and save money and then just get fired and collect unemployment and have my savings and go party all summer. And, after a while, when you start meeting certain people and start seeing how certain people live, it definitely make you want to get your shit together. And, you see stuff that you want, you figure out how to get it. And that's the thing. And I was like, what can I do? How can I get this? And, I always like to talk about The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith. That movie. I mean, he walking down the street. A lot of people don't get that part. I mean, just remember, he's walking down the street. You see the dude get out the car, nice car, and he just asks him what he does. And he's told him what he does. And the whole movie is about him trying to get that job. He's seen what this man do. He's seen the kind of car he was driving. It wasn't his first love. Like, that's what, he grew up wanting to do his entire life. It was his passion or something. He said, this dude making money doing this. I want to do what he doing. And look what he did and went through. Sacrifice, having to sleep in the bathroom with his son and all the stuff he went through in The Pursuit of Happiness, based on a true story, by the way, to end up getting that job. I mean, that's amazing to me. And that's just like, whoa, he's seen something. It's not practical today, but I mean, just the story, you have to really use it as inspiration, as wow. He seen something that he wanted. He figured out how to get it and he got it. And it wasn't easy. And he had to sacrifice. He had to embarrass himself. And how far are you willing to go to get what you want? And he proved he was willing to go far and to do anything. He had to drive. We so caught up in this culture that we don't want to embarrass ourselves. We don't want to do anything that's going to make us look less than what we think we are, when we don't realize we look less than what we think we are. And that's the problem with a lot of people. They try to be something that they're not, and they only fooling themselves. And time is ticking. The clock is going by, and you're going to look up and it's going to be too late for a lot of you to do anything, or you're going to feel that way at least. because it's not too late. And it's really up to you. So it really begins with that mindset. Changing that mindset, having that mindset and that mentality to understand what's going on and that all this shit is a trap and you better act like it. And stop acting like these people are going to give you something that's going to make you rich and better than them. It's not going to happen. Stop believing because you got a good heart and you're a good person, things is just going to magically happen good for you. It's not going to happen. You got to work. You got to have a plan. You have to bring to yourself the information, the know-how to get what you want. Because that's the only way your subconscious is going to allow your body to walk in that path. Once you get the information and the knowledge to know how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, you can't do it. You can only operate on what you know. Now you know. You have a plan to set up for. You have a strategy to build a strong foundation. And it's up to you to really establish it. And to start it and begin it and stick to it. You know, people be trying to lose weight. They don't lose weight because they be bullshitting, and we all know that. People be working out and be like, oh, I'm not losing anything because they know they cheating themselves. You can't cheat yourself. You got to be real. It's the only way. But you have to realize that along this way, this little journey, the suffering that you're going to face is going to be because of desire. Because if everything started working out for you and you got your contingency, you have your savings, and now you got the little extra money and you want to spend it, it's desire. It's because you desire certain things, and that's what you have to fight. The temptation, the desire, the want for stuff that you do not need, and forfeit it, sacrifice it for a better future for you and your family, your kids. That's all you got to do. And that's tough, I know, but that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. It's not going to be easy. But understand that you are building an energy for success. You are building a frequency for success. And by building that frequency and that energy, you will attract it. You will attract things to you. And, you know, you'll see it start to benefit you. But it's not going to be nothing like sitting back knowing that you are financially comfortable. You got a savings. You got $1,000 in your savings account. You have a contingency. So if something happened and you lose your job, you can survive for 3 months. Still have a savings. It's nothing more comfortable than that. When I first got that, when I realized that, oh shit, I'm cool. I got money coming in. Even if I lose it, I'm fine. I have a savings. That's the biggest thing. And that's the biggest problem. The biggest thing they do not teach us is that we need to save money. We need to humble ourselves and save money and make sure we got a good plan, that we got savings and security. Now today, you know, I live comfortable. I don't have to worry about money. That's a good thing to be able to say as a black man in 2018, that you do not have to worry about money. You ain't sell your freaking ass. You ain't, you know, sell out to these white folks. You ain't do a bunch of, you know, stuff that you're ashamed of, that you worked hard and you still young, and you ain't in the entertainment industry, you know, jiggable and dancing around for these folks, and you comfortable. You're okay. You're your own boss. You're doing your own thing. And, you know, it's real humbling to know you can do whatever you want to do. And I'm here now, back in America, establishing, you know, just more work. I'm going to be here setting up Airbnb. I'm going to do it here in Vegas. Then I'm going to do it in LA because it's the fastest growing. I think it's number 3 as far as the fastest growing investment opportunity in America right now. And if you haven't heard of Airbnb, just briefly, it's basically when you rent out your apartment to people who come into the city for whatever. I just so happen to be right next to the convention center in Las Vegas. We're right next to the convention center. So it's easy for me. So many people want to rent out the apartments here. It's easy to do Airbnb and make good money here. And, you know, it's really up and coming. You can make a lot of money. A lot of Asian people love it because Asians, when they travel, they like to cook. They don't like to stay in hotels and eat hotel food. They like to cook their food. And, trust me, I know. So, it's a good business opportunity that we're going to get into and talk about in further parts, because it's definitely something you want to get into that's easy to get into. And yes, you can, if you have a nice home. I mean, it's weird. A lot of people don't want to do it in a house, but if you have a house or you have like a guest room or you have like a basement apartment or something like that, Airbnb is good money, because you have people who will actually rent a room for Airbnb if they need to. It sounds crazy, but they do it a lot. You have backpackers, and a lot of people don't know about these backpacker societies where you have people who literally backpack across America and they stay at Airbnb a lot. So, you know, it's another way to make money that I'm really getting into. And, it's definitely good. But, you know, being able to do what you want to do and have financial freedom and travel and do things is just a beautiful thing. And I just want people to really understand that they don't have to be stuck thinking that, you know, somebody got to save them, or that they never can achieve this, you know, at their 9 to 5. It's having that mindset, using that 9 to 5 to achieve it, to get what you want. Many of you are going to watch this and you're not going to take it seriously, and you're going to let another opportunity pass you by to where somebody's trying to help you out. Even if you do not buy the next part of this series and you just take the advice that's in this one and listen to me and set up this foundation, you're going to be fine. You don't need to see nothing else. You'll be fine. This is the foundation that has been used. This is what is the blueprint for success. And it's just common sense that you must do this. And a lot of people have absolutely no clue. So I really wanted to get this out and just to lay this foundation to set this thing off, because a lot of people are not going to be willing to do it. And if you're not willing to do that, then you have to find another means, another way of, you know, building success for yourself and, you know, getting out of the situation that you are in. But this is the best plan. And it's the only way that is, you know, that is really, you know, easy to really do, you know, that makes the most sense, because you got to have the security. Don't put yourself in those positions no more where you just asked out. And you got to be begging, calling people, asking them for money. I mean, imagine, like, even people, if we had this system, then niggas won't be looking for bail money all the time. If they was following the system, you would have the money already. Oh, I need bail money. Just, it happens a lot. You ain't, what? You doing what you doing? You're a grown man, you ain't got bail money. Knowing that you do stuff, you do dirty shit. You know you walking around carrying dirty guns and you selling drugs, you ain't got no bail money somewhere in the tuck. That's on you. That's on you. So we got to get out of this mindset, this ignorant mindset that we have, that has been brought upon by this culture, this hip hop culture that got us real stupid and not following simple, basic things such as establishing a foundation for our success. As I said, generational wealth begins with the family, the mom and dad. If you don't have a mom and dad to show you how to establish this foundation, that, you know, mom and dad worked, they had a savings, they put money aside for your college fund, all the shit we hear white people talk about all the time that sounds so foreign to us. But this is what they do. But it's normal. Generational wealth begins with the parents. You got to start implementing that in your kids and let them know that they need to save, they need to have their mind right, they need to know what's going on, they need to have security and backup, and they'll be fine. They'll be fine. And it's just the way it is, unfortunately, in this society. A lot of people have you thinking that it's you know, you selling out by being educated, you selling out by going to college, you selling out by getting a mortgage, or you selling out by investing in America, or what have you, investing in yourself. And you got to use this system and milk this system for what it's worth, because it's milking you right now. So you need to milk it back. You need to get out of it what you put in it, which is a lot. It owes you. Unfortunately, it's not willing to pay you, so you got to take it. But you got to be smart about it and strategic, and get this ghetto shit out your mentality. Get it away from you, because it's going to hinder you. And stop following and worried about what everybody else is doing. Focus on you. Focus on yourself. Set up this foundation. Establish it. Make it solid. And you're going to be all right. You're going to be fine. So it's part one. Part two, we're going to get into a lot more. But I wanted to set this up to get you guys to basically get on board with setting up this foundation. And if you're willing to do it, then the next parts is going to be easy for you. It's going to be stuff that you're going to, look at down the line, because right now you're setting up the foundation, and some of you may not have it or can't set up the foundation immediately. It's going to take you some time, but at least you have the steps right there waiting for you. Some of you are going to be ready to go, some are not. But I'm going to show you a lot. We're going to go through some things, and hopefully you guys can take advantage of some of the opportunities and, do good things, because it's definitely out here for us to take it and to make money and to live good lives and not be stuck in this rat race. And only being conscious. If you're conscious, you can do this. If you're conscious, you can do it. So, I know plenty of you are going to take advantage, and some people are not, and that's just on them. So, people ask for this. I didn't want to get into none of this. I didn't want to talk about it because it's kind of personal. I didn't want to really touch on none of this stuff, but I keep getting so many emails from people, messages about talking about, what to do with their money and how to set up, the right type of circumstances for them to build wealth. So here it is. We're going to get into it. This is basically, establishing the foundation and I'll see you guys next video. Thanks for purchasing and support. I really appreciate it. See you next video.